What's up guys, Meredith with AmericanMuscle.com, and today we're checking out the ShiftPower USA Throttle Response controller fitting all 2007 and newer Dodge Chargers. Now if you're watching this video, you've probably noticed a pretty big delay in your throttle response, whether you just started to notice it or you simply daily drive your vehicle and notice it all the time. Now this is going to be a great option to get some of that pickup back, making your charger more responsive so you can get off the line and merge on the highway a little bit easier no matter what stage of your build you're on. Now I do want to mention right up front that this will not add any power like a tuner would, which is great if you don't want to mess with any parameters and you also want to save a couple bucks, but this is going to have the ability to turn your vehicle back to stock. Now this will just give you some extra pep off the line and reduce or even modify the delay for a much more responsive feel in your charger. Now this is going to feature 7 different modes to tailor to multiple different scenarios, whether you want a boost in throttle response or you even want to dial it back. Now like I said, you can modify it, so let's go through these modes together, starting off with dynamic and sport mode. Now these are going to be the two that are going to help you with that day-to-day acceleration and offer that sportier feel to your charger. Now the next two are super sport and race modes, which will offer that more aggressive feel and that instant throttle response if you really want a lot of pickup with virtually no throttle lag. Now this will also include safety modes, including Valet, which will limit that acceleration up to a certain point if you do give your keys off to a valet or if you even pass off your keys to your kids, and a lock, which won't allow any throttle response until you unlock it with your smartphone. Now last but not least, this will also feature an eco mode that will offer similar limitations and improve your MPG based on driving habits and can be tuned for up to 20% of a reduction in response. So you do have that ability to modify and kind of delay that response there. Now all of these modes will be able to be used with the physical button in the kit, illuminating to each of the modes, or the smartphone app that you can download in the Apple or Google Play Store for free. Now taking a look at what comes in the kit, you can see that this is going to be a very compact device here with 2 OE grade plugs. One of the plugs is going to attach to the top of the throttle pedal and the other is going to go to the throttle harness, intercepting it, allowing you to customize it via the electronic module here. Now the wiring harness will be durable with a nylon mesh for protection and IP67 waterproof pedal connectors. Now you're also going to see a little red plug here. This is for the actual button. So you can run this up to the dash. You can make it a little bit subtle if you don't want to see it all the time, or you can put it right up front to be able to change the modes on the fly. Now you can attach it wherever you'd like using the auto grade 3M tape right on the back, making it super easy to install. You're also going to get a little sticker here or a plaque and some zip ties to make sure that everything is tightened and tidied up so there's no annoying wires hanging down. Now this will come in at about $250, which is right on par for other controllers like it. Now what I think stands out about this the most is the simple yet in-depth design when it comes to the immersive app that's super user-friendly, and it's also very easy to install without being overcomplicated. Just one button with easy-to-see indicator lights. Now I think if you're looking for a simple and user-friendly system, you're looking for something that's not going to be a tuner, whether you don't want to pay more premium price point for a tuner, you simply just don't want to modify your ECU or any parameters, this is going to be a fantastic option to consider to up the capability of your charger. Now install here, as you can probably imagine, is going to be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. It is super easy and it should only take you about 15 minutes to get this hooked up on your charger. Now at this point we can head over to our shop and show you a detailed breakdown and show you a little demo on how this works. So that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
The tools you'll need for this project are a soft trim removal tool. Hi everyone, today we're installing a throttle controller on our charger, so let's get started. Now as you can see, there's only a couple of pieces to install this and it's really simple. However, getting to it can be a little bit tricky. It is connected to your throttle pedal, which is located obviously under your dash. So basically all we've got to do is unplug the OEM controller from the pedal, insert this in the middle, and then connect our interface module. So let's go ahead and get that done. Now before you actually get to the install part of this, one thing you want to take care of is make sure that one, your key fob is not inside the vehicle and you've had your driver's side door open for at least 10 minutes. Once you've got that done, then you can go ahead and get ready for the install. Now to do this, there is a trim panel underneath the dash here that has to come out in order for you to be able to access the plug on the top of the throttle pedal. Now we're going to remove that. There's just a couple of push pins, and we're going to use our trim removal tool to actually remove those pins and pull that panel out. Now you want to be careful when you remove that panel because there is a light attached to it. So once you get the pins out, go ahead and pull the panel away, but don't pull it all the way out, and then disconnect the light underneath it, and then we can go ahead and finish taking the panel out. All right, because of the location of this panel and these pins and the size of our camera, it's a little difficult to get it in here to show you exactly where they're at. But you've got one pin that's right here, and the other pin is right here. Now you'll see this when you get underneath your dash and look, there's just a couple of black pins, and I'll show you on the panel once we get it out, but those are the two pins that you need to remove. So we'll go ahead and use our trim removal tool. So then once you've got the pins out, just work it down around in front of the pedal. And as you can see here, this is the light that's connected to this trim panel. So you're just going to push on the release lever there on the connector and go ahead and slide it out. As you can see on our panel, here's where our two push pins are at. So you're going to get your trim removal tool underneath the edge like this and pry down on it. Now it should come out with the panel itself, so you don't have to worry about putting them back in. Now we can go ahead and get our throttle controller connected. All right, so now you can see on our throttle pedal, here's our controller for the OEM portion of it. Now this is the connector that we're going to disconnect simply by pushing in on the release lever and pulling it out. Now this is the male connector for the throttle controller. So what we've got is we've got two connectors here. So we've got the male connector on one side and a female connector on the other. The male connector is going to go on the throttle pedal. So we're going to push that in until it locks in and then push down on the red locking lever. And then the female side is going to go into the male connector that we just disconnected, like so. Now the next thing we're going to do is connect the interface module to this red plug here next to the controller itself. So let's go ahead and get our interface module connected and get that set up. All right, so here's your connector on the throttle controller from the factory. What we're going to do is disconnect this plug right here simply by pushing in on the release tab and pulling it out. Now, once you've got it out, we can go ahead and connect the male side of our new throttle controller to the OEM box, push it in until it locks, and then push down on the red locking tab. And then we'll take the female end of our new controller and plug that into the harness that we just disconnected from the OEM box. And again, we'll push that in until it locks into place. And now we can go ahead and connect the interface for the controller. All right, next thing we're going to do is connect our interface module here to our actual control box. Now you can mount this pretty much anywhere that you want. And we've already started by inserting the connector for the interface module into this opening underneath the steering column. And we feed that all the way down through. And then what we can do is go ahead and connect this to this red connector here next to the control module. So we're just going to plug that in till it snaps into place. And then we go ahead and mount our interface module. Now, Because we're not making this a permanent addition to our vehicle, we're not actually going to go ahead and mount this, but I will show you how it actually works. So you can put it here or wherever you feel like you've got easy access and can operate it while you're in the vehicle. So let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. Now, one thing you want to do here before you actually start driving the vehicle is go ahead and use the supplied zip ties in the kit and zip tie this control module up out of the way from the rest of your harness, and to make sure that it stays away from your pedal so that it doesn't interfere with operation of the vehicle. So again, like I said, because we're not making this a permanent addition, you can figure out once you get it installed how you want to attach those zip ties to get everything out of the way. Now, assuming that this control module here is attached to your dash, we're not actually going to do that, like I said, because we're not making it permanent to our vehicle. But once you turn your ignition on, you should see the lights change colors on this interface module here. So we'll go ahead and turn our ignition on. And what you should see are the lights will be white when you first start it up. Now, if you press the button again, it changes to green. Green signifies dynamic mode, which is a softer accelerator response than normal. Press it again, and it changes to yellow. When it goes to yellow, that's sport mode. So you're going to have a little bit more aggressive of a throttle response from that point. Press it one more time, and it changes to orange. Orange is your super sport mode. So you're going to have even a quicker response. One more push, and it changes to red, and red is for your race mode. So your throttle response is going to be exceptionally quick in this mode. And if you press it again, then it goes back to white and turns it off. Now, there's a couple of different other operating modes that this thing has. If you press and hold the activation button here, you can activate those. So to go into valet mode, which limits the amount of power that's put to the vehicle to 30% from the factory, you can adjust it from 15 to 45%, but from the factory it's at 30%. And to do that, what you're going to do is press and hold the button until it turns blue. Once it turns blue, then it's in valet mode. So you just press and hold until it turns blue. Once it turns blue, now you've safely set your car to only 30% of the horsepower available. Now, you also have what they call lock mode, which essentially works as an anti-theft device. So to activate lock mode, what you're going to do is hold and press the activation button for about 10 seconds, and it should start alternating between blue and white. So we'll press it. Now it's green. Now it's blue. And now it's going from blue to white and back to blue. So once we have that, it's in lock mode, which means there's no throttle response whatsoever from this module. Now they also have eco mode, which is basically your economy mode. And what that will do is it slows up your throttle response up to 20%. So what you're going to do is, starting from the off position, all right, so we're going to press and hold the activation button for about 3 seconds until it starts alternating between green and white. As you can see, it's alternating now. So this puts us into economy mode. So now what we can do is go ahead and turn this off, and we'll discuss a little bit further about other options. All right, so as we said earlier, there is an app available from either the App Store from Apple or from the Android App Store. Now I've got an Android phone, so I've downloaded the ShiftPower, which is what you want to do a search on to get this installed. And then once you've got it installed, go ahead and click open. And once you click open, it's going to give you the option either when ShiftPower has access to this device's location. I personally like to use while using the app only. So we'll go ahead and click that. And then it says, allow ShiftPower to find, connect to, and determine the relative position of nearby devices. You must click allow if you want it to connect to your device. To connect it to the actual device, what you're going to do is click on this little car icon here next to your settings gear. So once you click on the little car icon, then it displays the actual module that you have in your vehicle. So then you'll click on the connect button, and it will ask you then your vehicle information. Ours is a Dodge. Click next. Model, we've got a Charger. Click next, and then the year. Ours is a 2015. Click next. And then you have your legal disclaimer. Click accept. And then it comes up with your status of your particular module. Now you can set your modes, your driving modes, by clicking on the modes button down here at the bottom. Right now it's in dynamic, which is the lowest response time of the module. If you click modes again, then it goes into sport mode. And then we have super sport mode. And finally, we have race mode. Now there are other settings in here that you can do, such as your valet mode. Your valet mode shows the little key with the hand underneath it, accepting it to a valet person. If you click on that, then it comes up and it wants your passcode to get into your phone. Now this is set by default at the factory to require this. So we'll go ahead and open that up. And as you can see from valet mode, it's set to a 30% throttle response maximum from this vehicle. So if you set valet, the most response time they're going to get out of their throttle is 30%. Now you can adjust that all the way up to 45% and as low as 15%, simply by grabbing the arrow and sliding it over. So we'll put that back to 30. And then if you click it again, it's set. Now the other one is lock mode, which completely locks it out. And again, it is set up from the factory to require a passcode to get in. Now, once it's got into lock mode, then it will not function at all. There will be absolutely zero throttle response from the vehicle with it in lock mode. And to get out of lock mode, just click it again. That being said, if you click on the little gear up here in the upper right corner, then you have your mode settings, vehicles that it's attached to, illumination, safety, and some other options here for legal terms, technical support, and about your device. If you click on mode settings, you have all of your mode settings that are available that you can adjust yourself simply by sliding it down the bar. Now we've set it to 19%, and you can do the same with all of the different modes. Now they're not going to go all the way down to the bottom, so you can't set your race mode to 0 or 15%. It's only going to go as far as 80%. If you click the reset button, that sets everything back to factory default. Vehicles, click on vehicles. What vehicles are you attached to? So if you've got multiple vehicles that have this throttle controller in it, it'll have them all listed. Illumination. Right now it's set to automatic, so your button brightness will change based on whether there's a lot of light in your car, such as daytime, or if it's nighttime and there's very little light, it'll change the illumination. Now, if you turn that off, then you can adjust it manually for your button brightness. We're just going to leave ours at automatic. Safety. To get into safety, you will be required to put in your passcode for your phone. Once that brings it up, then you've got your safety menu. Unlocking by presence. Unlocking by presence will disable, right now it's not turned on. But if you turn that on, then what will happen is once your phone reconnects to the vehicle, it will unlock the control module for your throttle response. Maneuver by presence. That is, if you've got that turned on, then when you reconnect your phone to the vehicle, such as when you re-enter it, it will automatically turn valet mode off. Password to lock. This can be set as well. You can turn that off, so anything that requires a password, such as the valet mode or the lock mode, if you turn that password to lock, it will not require you to enter your passcode. Password to valet, same thing. If you turn that off, it will not require you to enter your passcode in order to set valet mode. Disable button. If you turn that on, then that means the only way that you can set valet mode or the lock mode is through the app. So we don't have any of our set. We're just going to leave that from the factory the way that it is. And then we have our legal terms. Basically just runs through, what their liabilities are. Technical support gives you connection information to speak to or get information from by sending an email or going to their website. It gives you that information. About will tell you the model, the version, the serial number that you're on right now, so that if you do have to talk to support, you'll know which version that you're on when they ask. Now that pretty much covers everything that's available through the app and from the manual operation of the interface in the vehicle. Enjoy your throttle response. And that wraps up our review and install of the ShiftPower USA Throttle Response Controller for your 07 to 23 Charger. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Charger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.